No, it's unfortunate, but it's certainly not surprising. I mean, when ECOWAS and its leaders made all those bombastic threats in sharp contradiction to their behavior with respect to other states that had also flouted other aspects of the ECOWAS integration project, then the die was cast. I think what we are seeing, I'll term as an initial culmination of the disastrous leadership from Abuja, and a very unfortunate one at that. But this has been long in coming, so it doesn't come to me as a surprise. But it also tells us a story that the quality of forecasting, risk assessments, and analysis devoid of politics and emotive ideas does not help ECOWAS at all. And I think here, part of the blame is allowing themselves to have been pushed in different directions that did not first inure to the benefit of these three countries, but certainly does not and did not inure to the benefit of the ECOWAS, the general ECOWAS, project. So it's a sad day. But my final point, this is not the first time there has been an ECOWAS. Mauritania did it after it went to war with Mali over the Indo-Kuri River. ECOWAS complained about the manner that it was, maltreating its Black African descendants. So Mauritania decided to withdraw. The lesson with the Mauritanian withdrawal is that ECOWAS never managed to get Mauritania back. So when we come to the options for preventing this, then I think I will present some ideas. But this is a sad day for ECOWAS, and it's a sad day because the quality of leadership, the quality of forecasting and analysis could not and did not identify that this was coming.
Let me come to you, Colonel Festus Abuaje. Now, on the back of what Prof has said, he says it's a sad day for ECOWAS. They couldn't forecast this. He also says, he refers to the disastrous leadership in Abuja, and we know what leadership he's speaking of. And then he talks about bombastic threats in sharp contradiction to how ECOWAS has behaved towards other states. Are you in agreement with Prof that all of these, in some shape or form, culminated in what we have seen now in these three countries?
Well, once again, thanks for having me. I share many of the perspectives that Prof has enunciated, but I don't call it a sad day, because...
Is it a happy day?
No, it's not a happy day, but it's not a sad day. I mean, if you deliberately, knowing the consequences of certain actions that you are taking, but you don't withdraw, dial back from those actions, and you end up with the kind of situation that ECOWAS is now faced with, that is not a sad day. The Prof emphasized the idea that ECOWAS is not paying due diligence to its own protocols. It's being selective in the manner in which it treats civilian leaders, if I may put it bluntly, some civilian leaders within the sub-region. It doesn't raise any voice. But when men in uniform take over the reins of power in a state, then ECOWAS finds its voice and says that, no, you don't belong to this platform, you belong to the barracks. But the unconstitutionality on the part of civilian leaders, rigging elections blatantly, for instance, changing ages, extending term limits, re-engineering constitutions, are all unconstitutionality that ECOWAS should apply itself to. Now, I've had occasion to point out that in all the councils of ECOWAS, in taking decisions to deal with these three countries and Guinea, which is not part of it at the moment, there were members of ECOWAS in those councils who had violated the same core values. So what moral justification do some ECOWAS member states have to sit in council over others and determine that they're going to use military force to restore the status quo ante or to restore democracy? So that is what it has brought us where we are. Again, underlining the scenario that Prof talked about is the existential threat of terrorism. And with the exception of the ECOWAS attempt in 2013 to go to the aid, the assistance of Mali in establishing a very small, very short-term ECOWAS mission in Mali, which was overtaken by the AU and then subsequently, MINUSMA and co came in. ECOWAS has left these countries to their own devices. None of the other coastal ECOWAS states have thought it necessary, to mobilize resources, especially collectively, within the ECOWAS standby force arrangement, to go to the aid of Niger, the aid of Burkina Faso, and then Mali. So if these three countries belong to this grouping, and they don't see concrete assistance from them when they are faced with existential threats, then why do they have to belong there? Now, why it is not surprising also is that Prof referred to this bombastic, saber rattling, as I should call it, that they were going to invade Niger. Of course, we spoke against it in terms of diplomacy, political, whatever it is. But subsequently in September, these three countries formed the Alliance of the Sahel States and said it was their own defense pact. That was a trigger for what has happened yesterday, or what happened yesterday. And if Prof is saying that ECOWAS does not read the signals, and remember that we're in a region where we have been divided into 4 monitoring zones. So everything happening in Ghana is monitored, not in terms of espionage, but in terms of what the media reports. And they all end up in Abuja. So Abuja should have known and interpreted the establishment of the AES as a prelude, as only a step to their decision to say goodbye to ECOWAS. It's got, when we go further, it's got advantages and it's got disadvantages. Yesterday, there was a lot of people who were thinking that these three countries were going to suffer. No, everybody is going to suffer, especially in a scenario where a marriage collapses. It is not one party or the other who suffers. All of them who are involved, including the children, including families on either side, everybody suffers. So we stand to lose probably much more than those three countries who now have the freedom to decide how to orchestrate their own needs and their own aspirations.